Welcome to Ask Me Anything, featuring spiritual medium and psychotherapist Kellee White.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Ask Me Anything. I am spiritual medium Kellee White, and welcome to my show today. It's a very, very exciting show because we have the greatest guest on tonight. But before I bring her on, I want to say hi to everybody. Hi, Diana. Oh, that's so sweet. Hi, Cece. Hi, Julie. It's always fun to say hi to everybody. And hi, Ardelia from South Australia. Actually, Ardelia, I have one of your questions. Hey, Lori. So Lori participated this weekend when we did our Roots of Healing Intensive. Yay. Hey, Karen Glass. Okay. Seriously, Karen, I'm so glad you're here. And Karen is a dear friend, a wonderful medium, and has their own special story about her dog Petey, actually. And I'm so glad you're here, Karen. And Karen is in St. Thomas, I think, or in that area. Wow. Hi, Lori. Hi, Daryl. Hi, everybody. Hi, Melinda Baines from Australia. Wow. Hey, Renee Martinez. How are you? Hey, Shanley. Hi, sweetheart. I miss you, Shanley. How are you doing? Much love to you, too, and to your clan. Hi, Diana Piper. Hello from Dallas. So, Diana also participated in our Roots of Healing. Hi, Joanne. I'm good. Thank you for asking. I haven't seen you for a while. Good to see you. Hi, Kim Ann. Hi, Kim Ann also was there. Wow. And Cece, are we taking calls today? I don't think so. I don't think we're taking calls, but we're taking comments. Oh, hi, Renee Hounsel. Beautiful evening wishes, Kellee. Thank you. Oh, this is going to be a great show. Hey, Elizabeth Glomsky. How are you, honey? Sandy Baker. Also, Elizabeth, she participated too. Judy Loveland, love your advice. Thank you very much. Ask me anything. I'll give you an answer as often as I can. Oh, I know Charmaine is going to be great with our guest tonight. Hey, Danica. Angel Light. I love that. And Liz. Oh, Elizabeth Preston. Hi, honey. Marge. Hi, everybody. Yesenia. So thank you very much, Daryl. I appreciate it. Oh, hey, Diane. And hi, Tim Mathis. I want to say hi to them. How are you guys? Wonderful, wonderful souls there. Marcia Marquise. I love that from California. I love it. Um, Oh, Kim Ann said she got a great message from, oh, I'm so glad, from Carrie. That's wonderful. Hey, Laura. So this is so fun. I could just do this all day. But I think I want to talk about a little bit about a little astrology, and then we're going to bring in this great guest of ours. So actually, today, Mars went into Virgo, and that stays into Virgo until I believe around the 14th of September. Yeah, September 14th. And this brings us into Mars is a lot of energy, and this bringing it into when it goes into Virgo is a lot about details. So there's going to be a lot of details. It also has to do with health. So people will be paying more attention. I know for me, I'm actually going to the doctor this week for a physical. So it's one of those times in life where you pay a little more attention to your health and details of your health. It also is a great time because Mars gives us energy to get organized. So it's really going to be an interesting time. When we get to September, though, my concern is that it brings the virus out more because Mars in Virgo is about that. It's about a healing. It's also about working with the virus. So I have a feeling we might be, and I said this last week, we may be in some sort of a lockdown again September and October. So that's something to consider. So you want to get your immune system way up right now. This is the time to do it. You want to get your immune system up. And I'm briefly going to touch into August just for a moment right here, because when we go into August, as soon as we get into August, which is in a couple of days here, we have Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto, and then Uranus soon, all in retrograde. And it's going to make August be one of those going down old memory lanes type of August. You're going to be thinking about, certain memories that you had, and kind of, I don't know, it's actually on some level, it's a good month. And on some level, I would say, if you're going to get out, now's the time to do it. Haste makes waste. I would use it as a reflective time, a time to catch up with people that you love that you haven't seen for a while. I think that would probably be a really good time. And at the same time, make sure you're keeping your immune system up. Okay, whatever that takes for you, watch your immune system. Joanne, your county's already rising. Yeah, that's very true. Susie Wright, you made it back on the road to make it back from work. Well, without further ado, I am going to tell us we have the greatest guest today, and it's my very dear friend Tami Hendrix is on with us tonight, and she is the founder of Soul Speak with Tami Hendrix, and I'm so excited to bring her on. Tami, come on in. She's a wonderful animal communicator. Hey,
Hi, it's good to see you.
it's great to see you too. I miss you. I haven't seen you in over a year and a half.
I know it's been a while. We only see us through the Zoom. We
I
only see each
know.
other. Yeah,
Oh my gosh. Now, are you in Asheville, North
I'm in
Carolina?
Asheville. I'm in Nashville
Okay.
tonight. Yeah.
Wow, this is great. And so I'm so glad you're here. Everybody was so excited that you were going to be here
Uh,
tonight because we've got a lot of great questions, and everybody can post their questions to
mhm.
Tami. But I think we should start with Tami. Like, what is Soul Speak?
It's funny because soul, the word itself came to me one day really strongly a few years ago because I was with the animals and I was thinking, how is it that I communicate? Because as a child, I would be out with the animals and I would sit with them. I would just hang out with them like other kids were playing. I was hanging out with the animals and I would notice that I could feel their feelings. I could
Wow.
hear words drop in. I could tell when they were concerned. And I thought this was all very natural, and it actually is. But what I realized is has to do with the heart. All has
Oh,
to do with the heart. So if I was telling you, if we have a heart, we can communicate. And
right.
the heart space for me, it's like we think of the heart space as a feeling center, right? It's our
Mhm.
emotional center. I realize that it's also a perceptual center where we
Mm,
see through the eyes of the heart.
yeah.
And so I've been called a walking heart. And I remember when somebody called me that, I was like, that's probably true because that's my guidance system before anything else is my heart. So I literally connect with the world through my heart. And that's why I'm able to work with the animals in the way I do. And so it literally is connecting soul to soul. It's
Mm,
speaking from our souls, but the portal's the heart, and
mm.
everybody has a heart, right?
Right,
So
right, right.
everybody can do what I do. Everybody has the ability um, to do that. And what it is it opens up an intimate connection with the world. It's like we become available by letting the world in. And if you think
Mhm.
about it, a lot of times people protect their hearts or put
Yeah,
a heart wall up because
sure.
they've been hurt. With animals, it's interesting. You can have the most disconnected people, and if an animal comes up, they become undefended. Their hearts open. It's
Yeah,
it's like the animal kind of goes around the bush to help open the heart,
absolutely right.
and so they're easier for us to connect with. And
Mm,
so I realized with Soul Speak that that's really what we're doing. We're talking soul to soul, we're connecting soul to soul, we're
mhm.
connecting heart to heart,
Heart to heart.
heart to
Yeah,
heart.
it's a great Kenny Loggins song, I think. Heart to
All
heart. I
right.
love that song.
It, it
It's
it taps into like an intuitive space in us.
yeah,
And when we do that, Soul Speak's a conversation that helps us tap into an intuitive space that allows us to um, connect with our animals and to understand from their perspective.
right, right. So many people are loving that. They're saying, I feel that so much. Kathleen Fleming says, and we've got a lot of people are loving your advice. Um, Lisa says, my husband and boys call me Mrs. Doolittle.
I like that.
which is which is great. But there are a lot of great questions. But I wanted to ask, how does one do that, Tami? Tap into their soul space.
Well, if everybody's game and you've got pencil and paper or pen and paper, I'll take you through a quick exercise just to do that very thing.
Oh, I think that would be great. Would everybody love that? I think everybody would love that because it's important to know how to do this actually. Uh,
Yes.
I mean, if it
Yes.
doesn't come naturally, this is a great way to get us.
Mhm.
Oh, we've got a lot of great questions for you, but let's tap into this space.
Okay.
If
All
if
right.
if everybody is ready, Tammy,
Okay.
yeah, I'll let you lead this.
All right. So I would maybe call this seeing through the eyes of your heart,
Ooh.
letting the world in your heart. And so the first thing I would do is drop into your heart space, which would be right in the chest area. Just drop in there for a minute and hang out and see if you feel anything. See what you feel. Um, Imagine that you're looking at the most beautiful sunset ever, like you're just staring at the most gorgeous sunset. What is your heart feeling? What is happening? Are you expanding? Notice what you notice in your heart. Write it down. Then, because beauty brings us into a sense of immediate connectedness,
Yeah.
right? It's a wordless space, which is where the animals it's all that energy where the flow is. So next, I would like you to just imagine that you have your beloved pet friend in front of you.
Mm.
Just close your eyes. Can you feel their fur? What do they look like? You sense through your eyes, you see, you hear. Do you hear anything? Can you sense their mood? Are they smiling at you? Are their eyes soft? What do you feel in your heart as you gaze quietly at your pet friend that's right in front of you? See if you can feel what their heart is feeling like. See if you can feel the flow between your heart and their heart. And just sit with it a minute. What you're doing is opening up a heart portal. It's a real thing where all information flows back and forth. Feel what you see and sense. What is your heart seeing? What is your heart sensing? Write down all the words, just don't analyze anything that's coming that you are picking up. If the word's beauty, write that down. If it's soft, write that down. Is there anything your animal is saying to you in that space, in that very, very sacred space? And it'll come fast. And don't analyze, just write. And when you feel done with that, can you imagine what your world would, or what our world would be like if you did that several times a day, where you're just connecting, you're just taking a moment to connect, whether it's a tree, whether it's an animal, whether it's another person. What kind of connections would we have with one another? And what would inform us? It wouldn't be our minds, it would be our hearts.
Mm.
I'd love to see if you put in the chat anything that came to you while you were doing this quick exercise.
I can tell you what happened to me while they're riding. I actually felt my dog, Livy, who had passed a couple of years ago, tell me she was so happy that with my other ones that I have,
Mm.
totally here. I could totally feel her. There was so
Oh,
much love there. It was really amazing.
that gives
That
me
was
chills.
wonderful. Right? She was wonderful. That was a great way to think about that. Um,
Well, it's a language we all share.
mhm,
It's a heart space, and maybe after dropping in, people feel a little vulnerable or a little open. That's okay because,
yeah,
we're not used to just jumping in. We're used to getting in our day, list, do. And the animals really help us just
right.
be with them. It's a connection we can all practice.
Daryl says, no judgment. There was peace, warmth, love
Mm.
her, dependence. And Kim Ann says, content, love, home,
Oh,
soft, warm, innocent. Hunter says,
Beautiful.
my dog Mocha started whining.
Uh,
Yeah, sometimes they do that. That's very funny, Hunter. Tracy said, Lucy came to me and she said she isn't mad anymore. She was trying to get to me to give me love.
oh,
Oh,
oh, that's beautiful.
wow. Kathleen says, I have so many tears in my eyes, so much love.
Oh,
Karen said, I felt love, hope. We got this. Bright light, lots of love.
mm, mm.
Good. I hope that's extra love, Karen, for you. Wow. This is really amazing.
Well, I was thinking about this practice in particular, and it's something that's not just um, exclusive to animals.
Yeah.
It includes everything. We could teach this to our children. How do
Hmm.
you connect with your hearts? How do we do that? It could be as natural as breathing, and it is actually.
Yeah.
But if we did this several times a day to build that kind of space, that is the very space that I naturally go into when communicating with animals. If I'm with an animal, I'm in that heart space
Wow.
naturally. It,
Wow.
it feels like home to me.
Right.
And that's
Right.
where I think, maybe because we're so busy that we need a little extra, like steps.
Mhm.
How do you do this? And everybody can feel, but it's
Mhm.
like seeing with eyes of your heart.
It's amazing. And you can build that muscle up. You can do
Mhm,
that several times a day
mhm,
and really
absolutely,
build
and
that
it
muscle up.
connects us to each other. Maybe we wouldn't
Truly.
be as judgmental, maybe we'd be kinder in understanding behaviors.
Why- It's
Y
Laura says, is this like heart math?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, getting that muscle up.
Yeah, yeah.
It's very true.
Yeah,
Um,
and the
it's
animals love it. They love it. They're
yeah.
like, "Oh, I see you finally got it. Let's practice this."
They're
The more you do it with them, the more information you're gonna get.
they're so far ahead of us, aren't they?
They are.
On so many levels. They're so far ahead. They're so
Like
connected.
put their hands on their hips like, "Finally, you
Finally.
finally we have to, like, teach you everything."
I mean, Jody says, I saw my cat that went missing a few years ago. I
Oh,
heard, I
wow.
miss you, but I don't know if those were my words or hers. But then I want to come home. I honestly don't know where she is or how to get her back.
Um, so have you had any dreams about your cat since she went missing?
Hmm. Would you, is your thought that maybe the cat is on the other side?
Yeah, I can feel
Hmm.
that, yeah, so the missing
Hmm.
part is, um, I wanna use the word literal, not literal.
Hmm.
But yes, I would say, that this cat is trying to communicate, and I would ask cat, if it hasn't come to you in a dream, to come in a dream.
Absolutely. That's absolutely a great idea. I
Mhm.
have a question. This is from Ardelia, and I thought this was a great question. She said, I'd love for you to be able to go into more depth about when a pet passes and how their soul can come back to you via another pet or even in a different type of animal. It's
Mhm.
a great
Mhm.
question.
Mhm. When we lose pets, and you and I were talking about how they're exiting a lot here lately,
Yeah.
it can be almost more devastating than, they're a family member, and so it can be more devastating than a human
Mhm.
leaving us in some cases. And so I have found that when I am grieving terribly, that I can't, it like clouds the perceptions. It clouds what I can
Right.
see or feel. And I
Yeah.
almost have to go through that process. And it's when that kind of levels out that I've seen animals show back up that have, as James would
Oh,
say,
yeah.
soul aspects. Maybe
Hmm.
not the exact same animal, but or the exact same soul, because we're meant to grow. We're
Hmm.
meant to continue to grow. And so, from my experience, the ones that I have that have come they have soul aspects, and then they have their own soul aspects. So it's a blended soul from what I see. But
Hmm.
they can come in any shape or form. Right now on the property, I should have brought a picture. There's a turkey that has shown up, and I have no idea. It was far down in the property, and then all of a sudden it's up at the house, and it's walking with the dogs. It's playing with the cat. It's just like, so I'm interested in getting to know this turkey more to see why he's shown up and what it is, because he's made a deliberate choice to do so. And so he has reminded me of several of my animals.
I was
I was
just
like,
gonna say, do you think he
yeah,
actually has come in and to give
there's
you a good run for your money?
yeah. There's a familiarity I
Mhm.
feel with him, and I think that, Ardelia, I would look for that feeling of, hey,
Yeah.
wait a minute, I know you. Like,
Yeah.
you're somebody I recognize. That's when you
Yeah.
know that,
Yeah.
wait a minute, there you've got another incarnation here going on.
Right, right.
Mhm.
That's so true. And oh, Michelle asked a question. She said, what can I do to make my dogs happier besides taking them everywhere? So let's start with the premise. Are dogs happy?
Dogs are just naturally happy. I mean, I've got come here, Emmy. I'll show
Oh,
you a happy
she's so
dog.
cute. This one is really cute, you guys. If you haven't seen Emmy before, she's like
I'm waking
really
her
cute.
up. She is deliriously happy
Oh my
all the
God.
time.
She's so cute. Looks like
She
Lady and the
is
Tramp.
I know. She looks a little like little Lord Fauntleroy with her ears right now, but she is so happy all the time. I mean, unbridled joy. And so
Mm,
animals naturally live in a state of pure joy.
yeah.
It really is their natural state. And so I like to ask mine, what is it you want? Bring your animal in on the conversation. What would make you happier? Practice that exercise,
Mhm.
and that animal can share. Well, I'd like some ice cream, thank you. I'd like to do that. Like, you'll start getting things, and you'll
Right.
you'll 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 think it's like crazy, but it's your animal playing around with you, like giving you directives, like, hey, want some ice cream.
Right. That's very true. Cheryl Udell says, "Can you communicate with a sick pet before they are crossing over to see what they need, and want to help
Mhm.
them with their journey over the
Oh,
Rainbow Bridge?" She says she has
absolutely.
a dog with advanced kidney disease. I'm sorry, and she says, "I wonder what she wants, what she's needing now."
Absolutely. I mean, this is a great question. So I would do that heart practice
Okay.
very, very often with the animal, just sitting um, and not even trying to get information, just being present, with the animal. Because once you get that space established, and let's say you do it 2 or 3 times a day, and you just sit and hang out. I keep having Pookie come to mind. She was a little Westie, and she was in the process of passing. And I sat with her one day. I just hung out for about an hour, and I was just petting her and humming and just feeling her breath going up and down. I
Mm,
wasn't trying, I was just being with her. And then a thought dropped in, and I asked her telepathically, internally, heart to heart, um, Pookie, do you need help passing?
mm,
Because I get the vet if you need it, but this is your choice. I want you to tell me. And nothing happened. I didn't hear anything. And then I thought, oh well, and I left. And so that next morning I had a dream, and in the
yeah.
dream, Pookie was showing me how there were two buildings and there was grass between it, and she was looking at me and she said, watch. She went from one building, and then she crossed the grass to the other building, crossed back and forth, and then she
Mm,
stopped in the grass and she said, I've got this.
mm.
So I woke up and I thought, "Oh, I'm not supposed to get a vet." And then about 2 days later, she passed in her sleep.
Wow.
So
Well,
she was showing me she was
yes.
prepared, she was handling it herself.
Well, that's so interesting because the reason I wanted to do this show today is my beloved niece Peggy lost her beloved dog Butch the
Oh,
other day, and
I'm so
he did the
sorry.
same thing. He literally he didn't move. He was in the house. He didn't move, and we were wondering, are you going to take him to the vet? How does that work? And
Mhm, mhm,
he let her know when it was his time, and he passed
mhm,
at
mhm,
home,
mhm,
really
mhm.
where he wanted to pass. You
Absolutely. They
know?
they yeah, they have a distinct ability to communicate that. And I
Yeah.
always I always tell mine, please just give me the look
Yeah.
so I'll know. Like,
Okay.
I'm here to serve you, I'm here to support you, but I'm not here to take over. It's not my body, it's your body. And
Mhm.
they do have, and especially if you've been practicing communicating like we've talked about,
Right.
then they will let you know. And make sure you tell your animal, please make it clear from me so that I don't
Mhm.
doubt it. They
Right.
will, and all of mine, of all the years, that's never failed. They've always
Mm.
given me a certain look.
Wow.
And then, I can take it further. Do you need me to help you with the vet? Then I'll get an internal, like, yes feel. Once you've started that two-way kind of heart talk,
Mhm.
then you're going to feel more confident than that you're getting the right information. It's not just you.
So Stacy R says, if you don't get a vet, do they suffer without one? Is that connecting that we have to have pain? What do you think?
Um, no, I don't.
Okay.
I've been through many, many passings and been through vet assistance passings,
Mm,
and animals have, they go through this more frequently, and they're in and out of their bodies,
mhm.
and so they actually are great teachers in how it's done. Now, that doesn't mean I would watch one suffer and
Right.
and be in pain, but that is information that, you don't all of a sudden, you're like, I'm really clear, I need to get this animal help. Like,
Right.
there's no more vagueness, and
Right.
that's the clarity that you're looking for. But no, I really honor animals passing on their own. I can't tell you the number of animals who have asked to please let me pass on my own.
Wow. Wow. That's so interesting to me.
And it's
Um,
hard. I can't say it's
really
not,
hard.
because we wanted, like, "Can I please just do something?" And I would keep getting a, "No, I've got this, I've got this." I'm like, "Okay, but I mean, really?" So,
Well,
I
it's also hard because I know with people that are not necessarily, maybe they don't have the time to be in the heart space and they're busy and then they love their animal and then their animal, it's time for their animal to go and they don't know what to do. And they're saying to me, I need a sign. And so what you're saying is get in tune with them basically from the
Mhm,
heart,
mhm, mhm.
get
And
really in
and
tune with them.
And get in tune with yourself. Like,
Hmm.
there are certain things within me that when I'm talking I'm like, there are some non-negotiables here. Like, I
Okay.
can't, I'm not going to be able to take you if you're in seizure or you're whatever. Although sometimes animals do pass in seizure, and I've had that
Okay.
happen. I've had that happen. And so, yeah, it's not an easy space to be in. If you have somebody
Mhm.
that can be kind of your um, partner in talking you through it, it's really, really helpful to have somebody else's perspective on it, not somebody's like panic on top of your panic, right?
Right, right.
Somebody who can be clear for the animal, like an advocate of clarity. And sometimes that's your vet.
And let me ask you this, Tammy, since you have had so much loss, to, I, to me it never gets easier.
Mm-mm.
It's a loss is each loss is individually difficult.
It's individually difficult, and within each loss, there's a gift. And
Ah, let's talk about that.
there's never ever a time where an animal or people really come into your life and then leave that there's not a gift they leave.
Yeah.
And sometimes I have found that the gift, if it's involving a vet, sometimes part of the gift's for the vet.
Ah, how
Um,
so?
well, who was it? It was one of my clients. This is a very poignant story where I think the dog's name was Darla, and she was this gorgeous beagle, and everybody loved her, and she was very connected to her parents, and she got very, very ill, and she had to stay at the vet for some of that time. All the vet techs, the vets there absolutely fell in love with her, and they would come on extra
Mhm.
shifts just to be with her. They took her out in the back and laid with a picnic, with
Mm,
her. They That was one of her, like, biggest
mhm.
gifts in teaching compassion to vets, to vet techs, to
Yeah.
people that wouldn't have crossed her path otherwise. She was a huge teacher, and
Mm.
her passing created the greatest compassionate opening, so much so that these people got note after note after note from the staff about
Wow.
what Darla meant to them and how she
Wow.
changed their lives in just a few short days.
So she was like an angel dog.
Absolutely. She was teaching
Mhm.
up until the very last minute. So,
Wow.
it's almost like we have to really, really stay present with what's
Mhm.
happening to pay attention. And that gives us our clarity. It's when we panic and we get anxious. Let's say it's a Friday and you're worried about the weekend and what happens with my, that kind of thing. It can get very muddled very quickly. And I've done it myself, so I know this. But I also know that there's such a beauty. There's almost a sacred, poignant beauty in the
Right.
passing.
Wow. I want to read this. David Vigiano. Hi, David. He said, I'm sorry I was in my car when you did the exercise. I got home and wanted to share my experience. When you said feel my
Feel.
dog in my heart, I immediately started to cry.
Oh,
Kelly knows about my foster dog Tank. Yeah, I do. He said I got him when COVID began and he has had many behavioral issues. Is so true. When I started to impulsively cry, Tonk asked me not to cry. He
oh,
wanted to explain to me he never trusted anyone before and he only acts out and gets aggressive with strangers because he wants to protect me. Wow, wow,
wow. Wow.
wow.
I just
Me
need to go get
too.
some Kleenex. Like
Right.
the
Wow.
animals, they are so clear, and the depth of the gifts they have to give us are huge. It's just we have to receive. That is a beautiful
Yeah.
experience. Wow.
That's amazing, David. Thank you for
It
sharing
is.
that.
Yes. Thank
Really
you.
amazing. I
Yeah.
mean, I remember when he got Tank, that was our talk. That was a big deal because it was right during COVID, and there were a lot of anxiety, and it was and he was not an easy one, but you stuck
Well,
it out.
and I don't know how he came across this particular dog, right? So how
Mm,
did the dog come to him? That's also
yeah,
something to look at. Animals don't, they come on cue. They come in on cue and they leave on
yeah.
cue.
Boy, that I love that, Tammy. They come on cue. Is that the truth? And they
Mhm.
leave on cue.
Mhm. Mhm.
Ooh.
And so there's always like in helping people understand, I had
Oh, no,
somebody
David, go ahead and said he
yeah.
said, "Did you see the end of my comment and my question?" No, we didn't because it got cut off. So if you
Uh-huh.
could write it again, that would be great.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be
Oh, here
great.
he says, Tonk says he's trying to be better and he wants to trust people. He says he just doesn't know how. So Tammy, here's the question. How can I communicate with him so he gets better about his triggered aggression? Great question.
So the good thing is that he's willing. So you have a dog that's
Mm,
willing in his heart. He has something to do with watching you. There's something about the trust that you have with him. He had never had anybody to trust him because he
oh,
doesn't trust himself.
wow.
So he says that he watches you and he's able to slowly but surely learn what that means to trust that he won't overreact. So I don't
Mm,
know if you've been a really good, strong example for him, but he really looks up to you. And I think, the best thing I could say as far as a triggered aggression is really notice when he's doing something really good, like, really show him, hey, I appreciate how you, whatever, fill in the blank, how you acted, and just talk to him like that. He gets it. He totally gets it. They all get it. They think we're like, they have to put us through all this language stuff. We're like, no, we get it. Um, so I would definitely praise him about the good pieces and reduce the parts where the trigger is going to happen while you're in this space of working with him. Let him step into feeling more confident in himself because he
mm,
doesn't feel confident. He just doesn't trust himself, and that's what he came here to learn with you. It's beautiful.
mm.
It's beautiful.
Wow, I love that. Wow. So Elisa says, I believe my animals picked me and my husband.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely, they pick. And it may look like we're picking them, but we're just kind of like pawns in the whole thing. Um, we kind of get led to the space. And I always ask
Mm,
people, why that one? Well, I don't know. They just
mm.
spoke to my heart. And the animals are like, well, it's
So true.
about time you showed up. Like, I've been waiting and waiting, and all these people came by, and you were the one that's supposed to get me. So
But
they're already in on it.
it's so true. I always feel like some arrow goes out into my heart.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
like they just
Yeah.
sling that arrow and then I'm like, done. That's it.
But that's your clarity. That's how you know. That's
Yeah.
part of your intuition saying, informing you, oh, this is the one. So
Right.
they have to get through all the barriers, and sometimes they do without with a little shock therapy where we just happen upon the animal and we weren't looking for an animal, and but this is something special, and
Right.
yeah,
Shock therapy.
yeah.
That's very funny. So Renee Hounsel says, how do we approach asking our pets if they would be okay with us introducing, great question, a new animal into the family? There's a stray cat I would love to bring in. I have 4 cats already. Oh, great question,
Oh,
Renee.
that is a great question. That's basically running it by the committee first. So it's like doing individual interviews with everybody to see, this is how I've done this when I've had situations like that. I've like had a group meeting, and I'm like, okay, guys, I think this dog is coming. This is magic. This is what he looks like. I'll show a picture. And I remember one time I put pictures up where they were for about 3 weeks prior to that animal coming. And I said, look, he needs a special place.
Mhm.
He's not going to take your place, but I do expect you to welcome him and show him respect until he can figure out where he does belong. And so that's how we roll here, right? So I give them all that, and then they get to see that he's, coming. And then 3 weeks later, I bring Magic, and these were labs. The labs laid down in a row and watched me walk Magic right by them.
Wow.
So what I would say with the cats are particularly, they're in charge of spaces, so they may be particularly territorial. So I would recommend kind of caucusing with all of them, but also individually sitting with them and just saying, hey, I'd like to bring this cat in, and but I want to remain harmonious, and how can we make that work?
Right.
What will happen is you'll start getting, you may be vacuuming after you've had that little meeting, and an idea will drop in onto how that might work, and it'll
Yeah.
just come out of nowhere because you've opened the space for the communication. And oftentimes the
Yeah.
communication doesn't come right that hot minute. It comes when you're doing something else and you've forgotten about it.
God, that's so true.
Hmm.
So I love the committee of it. When we had our dog Otis, who we have,
Hmm.
I knew I could feel him. I could see him, and I was in that heart space, and I knew he needed a companion.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
knew he needed a companion. He, as he just had to have one, and I would ask myself, "Is this me or is this him?" And every time, Sammy, I was drawn to this is him. And the moment we got our beloved Charlotte, those two have never been apart. Never
Hmm.
been apart. They drink out of the same thing constantly. Even they have to push each other to be together. They constantly have to touch each other. It's really been an unbelievable experience because I've never had 2 pets at the same time, and
Right.
so to see it was just it's a thing of beauty, and it's just it's really it's amazing for us to have this
That's
experience.
beautiful. They were two souls. They
Oh,
had to come
they're
together.
soulmates. They
Yeah,
have to be
absolutely.
together. They're totally different breeds, totally different rescues, but boy, they had to be together, these 2.
Charlotte feels like she's in charge of Otis.
Oh, you betcha. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
she's like
betcha. Yeah,
she's like, I came to, like, he needs, like, handling. So,
yeah.
like, and she also came to be your assistant, like, you needed help.
Oh,
It's like he was a handful.
well, it was so funny. I wanted a second one so badly,
Mhm,
but and it was during the COVID, I mean, it was all this time I really wanted this other one, and then she appeared, as you said. I mean,
mhm.
she just appeared.
I
I was like,
remember.
remember, you
Mhm,
remember the story, but she wasn't mine. She was for him, and these 2 have a bond, and then the 4 of us have bonded. So it's
mhm,
really interesting how
mhm.
families can bond together
Mhm, mhm.
with
It
them.
brings a cohesiveness that
Truly.
you really understand the true meaning of family in a
Yeah.
different sense than you might have thought of. Charlotte also feels like she's got the hair going on like you do. She's all about her hair.
Oh,
Like,
completely. Yeah.
I don't know if you remember, like when you texted me the spa day when she went and she was sitting there in the
Oh my God.
and that look on her face. She was
Okay, you guys, I took her in just for like a little shortcut, and she came back, and I said to the woman, "Look, just a little tiny trim." I came back, I'm like, "Who's this dog?" She said, "This is your dog." I said, "What are you talking about? My dog." What? And then I took a picture of her in the car. She was so pissed off.
she
I
was
sent it to
pissed.
Tammy, and Tammy's like, "Whoa, boy." And then when I brought her home, Don said, "Who's that?" I said, "That's Charlotte." It was really
Yeah,
unbelievable.
she really is all about her hair. So, I
Yeah,
mean, and I think I told you, just tell her she looks great. This was a spa day.
that's
It like you just
exactly
let it
right.
roll like that.
Let it roll. It was so funny. Oh my God. So we've got a lot of questions here.
Okay.
So let me see where we should, let me hold on a minute. We have, okay. So I know there was one I wanted to get to. Hold on a second. Joanne Wilson says, my Cocker Spaniel Taffy is 12 years old now, and I would like another dog. And in fact, opportunities keep arising to adopt ones. But
Mm.
I'm afraid that Taffy needs all of me for the rest of her life. Any ideas on what to decide which is best? Which is so true, Tammy. As you're losing one, I'd love to know too, when is it appropriate to get one, and all of these kind of questions. But it's a great question, Joanne.
That is a great question. And what I am feeling from that is there's an opening that occurs almost like a baton gets passed.
Mhm.
So sometimes an animal passes, you wait a while, and then another comes in. At other times, the animal comes ahead of time because
Oh.
there's a transition point where the one that's already there can help teach and prepare the one that's there. It's kinda like
Oh.
they're passing the baton, but before they do, they've gotta, teach them the ropes.
Mm.
And it may not look like that to you. Maybe it looks like the 12-year-old sleeping all the time. Trust me, they're communicating with one another. So I would trust that intuitive feeling you have that's kind of, it keeps cropping up. It feels like with me that you keep saying, gosh, I think I'd like another one, but I don't want to take anything away from her. I don't feel like you will. I don't feel like you'll
Mhm.
take anything away from the one that's already there. And I would ask her, I would include her and say,
Mhm.
hey, this is what I'm thinking about. And I want to know, would this be okay with you? Because I feel like there's one coming. I can't quite explain it myself, but I feel like we were meant to have another one. And
Right.
see the feeling you get from your 12-year-old about that. My sense is that she's like, yeah, that's fine. That's fine. You want to do that. So I'd be interested to know how that plays out, but I would trust that part of you that keeps feeling you want another dog and that the opportunities keep coming up. That too is very interesting. Pay
Right.
attention. Yeah.
Right. So tell me about, should you, if a dog is getting ready to pass and you know that the time is coming, would you start talking to them about heaven?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
would.
And I
The
would
rainbow bridge or
I would, although they know all that, but
okay.
that's kind of more for our benefit, I think.
Yeah.
But I would definitely have open conversations. This is a great time when you know this to, like Molly and I, it was to the lab, and I would sit up there, and she would like give me all the rules that I was left with, and like be kind to others. And I mean, she had this whole list of things. It was a
Mhm.
great time for us to have memories, share memories together, for her to tie up loose ends with me, like, I'm not going to be here. This is what I'd like you to pass on to others, that kind of thing. So, yes, talk to them and say, be honest with them. I don't know how I'm going to handle it. Can you help me with this? The
Yeah.
more you communicate like we are doing,
Mhm.
the more you're going to get confident that this is not difficult. It's all through the heart, period. It's
Wow.
all through the heart.
Wow.
And this can work with, think about it, we can do this with children. Can you
Mhm.
imagine teaching your children what that is? Well, and you could do it using, the family pets, to help
Yeah.
them learn how to communicate through their
Yeah.
hearts. It makes us better people.
It
We're more
really
whole.
does. Well,
Right.
and these children that are here now, such rainbow children and
Hmm.
crystal children, and they're so in the heart. It's such a,
Yes.
you're absolutely right. So Elizabeth Glomsky says, how do these relationships differ between a domestic animal as opposed to a wild one? Great question. I have been able to whistle a bird song since a young girl, and they answer me.
Mm, mm, mm. It's interesting because the domesticated animals almost serve a different purpose in the universe for
Mm,
us. They're a little closer to our in the day-to-day living. They absorb, like in COVID, they absorb all our anxieties. They
yeah,
really have taken on quite a bit. The wild animals hold the space, almost like the vibration of the
yeah,
earth with the animals, just like that turkey showing up. I mean, how
yeah.
bizarre is that? Um, I love that you're able to communicate with the birds because there's there's a real high frequency that you carry, and those birds carry. It's very delicate, very delicate. So that tells me that you're able to tune in on that frequency. Not everybody can. It's like
Yeah.
hearing notes of chords in music, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I actually heard my husband Don d- talk and communicate to a hawk that was flying over for several minutes.
Wow.
The hawk would make a special noise.
Uh-huh.
Don
Mhm.
would communicate it back. Of course,
Mhm.
he is a professional
Mhm.
musician. However, he's got he has that
Yes.
ability to get to
Yes.
that. And this went on and on and on and on and on. It was
Mm.
unbelievable.
It's
Yeah.
hearing again, like seeing with through the eyes of the heart. It's hearing with a different frequency.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, absolutely it is. Um, So Kim Ann says, I raised sheep as a kid and got really
Mm.
good at doing their bleat. I'm not sure what that means. Do you know what that means? So much that they would answer me.
Oh, I love that. That's beautiful. Sheep are so sensitive.
Mm,
They're such soulful animals. Very kind, very mishandled, I think, and they're prey animals as well.
mm,
But they are such sentient beings that they're easy for us to get connected to, and they communicate they're very soft, gentle heart space. Very, very wonderful
right.
animals. Mhm.
Wow. Wow. Chrissy Hayden says, my dog Kirby Douglas. I love that. My dog Kirby Douglas.
KD.
First of all, I have to say I love that name. Is a very nervous dog with aggression. I took him to the vet and to a trainer. I have an appointment with a professional behaviorist in October. Can you tell me why he is aggressive? He is also protective with his treats as well.
So what's coming into me is he's a super sensitive dog, number one, and he's picking up on um, some. I don't know if you've got some anxiety going on in the house, or he's like a tuning fork where he's taking a lot of that in, and he doesn't know how to run that energy, so it comes out as aggression. I don't know what type of dog he is. I know that the bully breeds, the pit bulls, energy runs through them really quickly, and it can come out. When energy comes in, it's going to have to go somewhere.
Yeah.
Unlike us, that sticks it and we stuff it, and then then it explodes. But same difference, really. Um, you know, I don't know how, let's say I took him to the vet and to a trainer. So without knowing how the vet interacted with him, how the trainer is interacting with him to know whether it's the right fit, I'd probably need to talk to you further. And you've got the appointment in with a behaviorist. There's nothing wrong with that. I always can feel underneath that aggression is it's almost like a lack of trust. Some animals don't interface with the world in a like that there's a neurological way they interface. They have
Mhm.
some special. I have dogs with autism that they see the world differently. So I don't know if Kirby Douglas has this going on.
Wait, stop right there. You have dogs with autism? Okay. Can you explain that?
I
I've never heard this one
really. Wow.
ever.
Wow. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, I've got a couple of dogs on the property
Wow.
with autism, and it's very similar. They have to have their exact routine. I've got Tigger, and he came from a group, it was the Winnie the Pooh group. And Tigger did not get adopted because you can look at him and he's just, there's there's just something there that's really simple, and he just needs clear instructions. He needs structure, and he's fine. If he veers out of that the least little way, he can't. It's like he doesn't know where he is, or and who are you? I saw you 5 minutes ago, but I don't recognize you now. That kind of thing.
Wow.
Yeah, dogs. I have two actually. I have two that have autism. That autistic energy is what I would
Yeah,
say.
no, I understand that.
Yeah.
I just never heard that expression
Hmm.
before, but it makes sense.
Well, and people, here's the thing with that, just like with people, kids, everybody, it's people look at a dog and say, "Oh, he's not behaving or he's not doing this." They don't really look into the being of
Yeah.
how they are really understanding and seeing the world. That's why, the more we can do that heart exercise, it's going to help us perceive the way they perceive things. And
Yeah.
some have very insightful, their full vocabulary. Tigger would not be one of those. He's just very simple. and sweet and skittish.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. This is so interesting. Last night we had a big lightning
Mm,
show here. Of course, I slept through most of it. Dawn was up with Otis.
mhm.
Charlotte only woke up. She's kind of like me with that. Doesn't bother her.
Right.
But why do some dogs? The lightning really gets to them. This was never a problem in Los Angeles. We didn't have this, but in the Midwest, it's huge with this lightning show.
Well, he's got a noise sensitivity, so
Yeah.
some
So that would
dogs
be it.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, some dogs just like I have Ivy on the property, and she, really is sensitive, and I have to put her in a room where she can't hear anything. Like, it just needs to be a
Really?
soundproof room, and she's
Oh,
fine because they
wow.
don't feel safe. It feels so much bigger than and then some dogs are sturdier, like Charlotte, when you were talking, she said, "I just let things roll off my back."
Yeah.
Like,
No, that didn't bother her. That didn't bother her. But
just like
Otis,
with
like
people, yeah.
everything.
Just like with people, I had somebody tell me the other day, I was riding my bike and I was in the thunderstorm and it was lightning. I was like, well, yeah, I got to get back, but I wasn't afraid. And this person was like, I only like thunder and lightning from a car or from a house. Like
Yeah.
and so we're all different, in
Right.
how we respond.
Wow. So you can't expect every dog to be the same because they're
Mm-mm.
very, very highly individual, it sounds
Exactly.
like.
And that's what I think people have the tendency to, especially with, oh, this is a certain breed, therefore they
Right.
should. And
Right.
it
No,
doesn't have anything to do with it.
that's
It may have some common characteristics of a breed, but they're individuals, total
wow.
individuals.
Now this is really interesting. Debbie Meyer says, I now have been caring for my husband's little Shishan pup since he passed away. They were very, very
Mm,
close. He was in mourning for quite some time
mhm.
after his passing. He sometimes stares so deep into my eyes for a long time. I really wish I knew what he is saying to me. I feel like he's trying to tell me something.
Well, I would go to the space of as he's staring at you and you're staring back, which is, wow, think about how intimate that is, to
Yeah.
be able to stare into the eyes of another being. I would just do like, again, not to harp on the exercise, but I would use the same ability to notice just notice what you're feeling in that stare. Notice if any, just I keep wanting to say, I keep feeling this like movement between the two
Yeah.
of you when he does that. So um, I would work off of that. And if that's all you can feel is that movement, hey, that's a start. And keep sitting with him in that way. And then as you fine tune your ability to go to that frequency, then you're going to start getting clearer messages
Mhm.
from him.
It's got to be really hard for an animal, for a dog or a cat or an animal that has been attached to somebody
Yeah.
and then they die and then they are left with the other
Yes.
person
Right.
or they
Um,
have to go to another family. That's got to be really hard for them.
It is really hard, and the tragic thing is, most times nobody explains to them. The person dies,
Yeah.
they've got this dog, they need to take it. Here, can you take it? And
Wow.
the dog gets left out of the conversation of, just like with a child, hey, this has happened. He's not going to be able to be here, and we're going to bring you like step by step, tell them where they're going to be, show them photos or show them pictures in your mind, take them there, let them see it, introduce them. Don't just, like, they're not objects to be moved from place to place to place. And it's frightening for them.
Right, right. Boy, Shanley says, I love your descriptions, Tammy. Yeah, they're really, really quite amazing here. Wow.
Well,
So, yeah, everybody's got all these questions, but I want to make a big announcement to everybody because this is really exciting, and everybody loves you, Tammy.
no.
Tammy's wonderful to I love it when she's on as our guest. But guess what, everybody? Tammy soon has a big announcement. She's going to be doing her own show soon. Do you
I
want to tell
will.
everybody about this?
Yeah, yeah. I'll be doing the show a couple of times a month. It'll be on Wednesdays, probably the same time that this show is, like 5 p.m. Pacific and 8 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be called Tammy Soul Speak with Animals, and it will be all about covering topics that you want to talk about, that you want to know about. We can interact with one another. I love when people join together, and really the animals have been pushing me for a while to do this.
And I
And
push too.
yeah, yeah, you did. You're like, yeah, but it was a loving nudge.
Get on the air, Tami. You're
That's
terrific.
right. That's right. So I'm really excited because I love when people come together and the animals love it. The animals are all in on it. So I'm super excited, and it'll start August 25th.
Okay, and is it going to be on YouTube and on FaceTime or
Yes, yes,
Facebook?
yes. Same thing as you do. Yes,
Okay.
correct.
That's
Will
going
be.
to be so great. I mean, everybody will be able to write their comments
Yep.
and they can, whatever you guys want to talk about, it'll be a super show for you. I'm so excited. This will be
Oh,
great.
I'm
So
excited too.
August 25th.
Mhm.
And
And
then,
if they want to sign up, like join my Facebook group, The Soul
Mhm.
Speak for Animals with Tami,
Yeah,
that'd be it's a great group, wonderful group of people, and
yeah.
you can post, your thoughts about what you want the show to be about. I will be reading and watching and interacting, and this is going to be our show. This is what we do
Oh,
together as a team, and the animals are
yeah.
all in it.
Wow. And I was wondering, Tammy, do you think, is it possible for you, because everybody is asking, some people that maybe miss the beginning stage of how to connect from the heart. I don't know
Mhm.
if you could maybe make a jot of something and post it on
Sure.
Soul Speak for
Yeah,
everybody of how to do it.
I'll be happy to do that. That's a good idea. I love that.
Okay. And
Yeah,
the
because
Facebook group is Soul Speak.
it's Soul Speak with for animals with Tami Hendrix.
Okay. And everybody will be able to go on there. You could
Mhm.
watch the beginning of this show again, which is on. But
Right.
if you could post it for everybody, I think
I will do so.
everybody is so excited.
No,
Everybody is so excited, Tammy.
I love meeting everybody's animals, and they are hysterical. They have such great insights, and they really appreciate being included in the conversation. That's why it's a soul speak conversation. We can all do it.
We can all do it. Oh my
Hmm.
gosh. Wow. This is just wonderful. Yeah, everybody's so excited about this. This
That's
is going to
great.
be wonderful. And oh my gosh, everybody's excited. So, well, Tammy, I want to thank you so much
Oh,
for
thank
being
you.
here today. And if anybody wants a private session with you, you still are doing private sessions?
Absolutely. They just go to my website, and I have a booking page, and I have my August schedule up. So yes, I'm happy to work with you further.
Great. Yay. And everybody join us on Monday with James. We're going to be talking about past lives. So, and the
That'll be
past lives
great.
could include animals too,
Absolutely. Oh,
right?
yes, 100%.
It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be
Hmm.
a great show. And I look forward to that. And I will see everybody next week. Thank you, Tammy. Thank you,
Oh, thank
Renee.
you. Thank you, everybody.
You've been listening to Ask Me Anything, featuring spiritual medium and psychotherapist Kellee White.